Boo doo 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 boo 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 doo 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 doo. A boy is born in hard time Mississippi, surrounded by so walls that ain't so pretty. His parents give him love and affection. I can't think of the rest of the words. Anyway, that is living just enough for the city. Okay, thought that was a clever intro. I don't know. I thought it was. That's living for the city though by I can't. Oh, Stevie Wonder. Sorry. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Alzheimer's hitting hard. Oh man. Anyway, Alzheimer's. Okay. But what is so great about the city? I see that there's a lot of resurgence. You see Echo Gecko, of course, decry the suburbs and evil, racism and whatnot. And you see other folks talk about how great European cities are. And, you see, of course, Vosh, praise the city and everything else, even though unironically, I think he lives in the suburb of Seattle. But anyway, I mean, what is so great about a city? I do have to ask that question because it's just like there's a lot of this resurgence where it's just like, well, actually, we need to all go back to living in the city. Yeah, we need to have, people that come from the countryside, leave their families so that they can, try to make it in the big city, right? You know, much the same way as people left, Minnesota or something like that and went to New York City so that they could get on Broadway. Oh, or leave Kansas so that they go to Los Angeles and eventually just become waitresses. What is so great about the fucking city? Or more realistically now, leave your home village in Yunnan province and go to Shenzhen where you're going to be working, you know, 60 to 80 hours a week, for Apple, where a boss is going to scream at you, screaming, "Quite there, ma! Quite there, ma!" That means quicker, quicker, quick, quite there, ma! Quite there, ma! Quite there, ma! Sorry, I just kept saying it, just sounded good. But anyway, because that's what the fuck a city is, and that's under capitalism. And I know, say what you will about China. I'm just, anyway. But it's like, what is so great about a city? Now, that's not to say I'm not going to sit here and praise the suburbs and whatnot. I guess technically, maybe I'm just too much of a spur, but I mean, I guess I live in the older part of the city. I mean, really, I am kind of more in the central part of the city because I'm not that far away from the city hall. So I mean, we got the highway right there. So I mean, I guess I don't know. I guess it's kind of a suburb in the middle of hell. I don't know, but you know, I don't really get it, man. It's like, yeah, I want to live in a, live in some fucking brownstone or something. It's just like there was, like I say, people will just say that these issues come up where it's just like, well, we actually need to go back to the cities. We need to actually go back there. We need to go back to the times of sweatshops and whatnot. Like I say, I think that what really broke me about cities was shows like Law and Order. That really, it's like if you watch those shows, you'd be like, why the fuck would I ever want to go to New York? It's like it's like, oh yeah, they're fixing up this apartment building. You know what this building used to be known for? It was one of Benny Gonzaga's sweatshops. It's just like, why would you ever want to go to a big city, like especially New York? I mean, obviously it's like screw New York, frankly. New York City, I don't know. I spent a fair amount of my life listening to New York hip hop, whether, Wu-Tang Clan or uh Nas or whatever, but it's like, come on now. Screw New York City, frankly. I mean, screw all of it. I mean, pretty much just screw the whole state of New York at this point. But it's like, you know, But they did create a Guido culture, gabagool and all that business. But past that, I'm just like, what is so great? I mean, realistically, what is so great? Once again, it's just, cultural diversity. It's just like, okay, you learn other languages, but guess what? They don't all fucking get along. I mean, you see this. It's just like, you see these folks that really, it's always ironic. The ones that really talk about, well, actually, we need to look at, how many black people, are invested. How many black people do you bring on your channel? That's one of the biggest things about BreadTube, of course. And I know Vosh isn't technically part of that, but it's like, how many black folks does he talk to? And he will demean them for believing in black nationalism. I mean, anyway, what was I talking about? No, y'all are like, what the hell is it, fool? But it's just like, the city. I mean, you can point to New York City, Chicago, St. Paul, Minneapolis. I mean, these are, these are places where it's just like, you don't want to spend, you don't want to go out in the street at night, You mean tightly blocked in streets that you can't go down? That, everybody's living on some big old floor where, you don't see, where you haven't felt the ground in a week because you haven't felt dirt in a week because you're up on the 38th floor or something like that. Is that really how you want to live? Oh yes, I that's just yeah. It doesn't suit me. It doesn't. It just feels weird. It's just like, even if I go up to like the 5th or 6th floor or something like that, I feel uncomfortable. I'm like, what the hell is this? You look out the window like, what the fuck? God damn. And you get that sort of mentality. To me, the city breeds a person that is much more of a hustler. You breed someone that's a con artist. And I hate to sound like a widnap, but the thing is that, if you work the land and you're a man of the soil, or at least even if you're a plumber, and you're digging in the dirt and whatnot, at least you get a sense of what goes on in a city, or what goes on in, in the local, amongst regular people. To me, cities, they've always been, but especially now, everyone's disconnected anyway. And then, of course, you get into the issues of racial discrimination and all that other business, And then, the fight between, one immigrant group versus another. They say, well, we should actually be getting along because we're all immigrants. That has never fucking worked. It's just, I don't know. Like I say, I just don't get it. I'm not going to sit here and praise any particular system or have any bias towards, being a suburb guy or going back to like, little villages. I'm not going to sit here and live in a fantasy, but it's like, why do it's obvious because these guys are urbanite people who like their anime and shit like that. And, think somehow that cultural diversity is okay. But yet, if a, they probably walk on the other side of the street. I like black people. And then they see, a dude, with what, you see a group of black folks that they were like, I think I'm going to go on the other side of the street, I mean, it just kind of shows the mentality of it. The people that really push this idea of the city. Oh boy. Oh boy. If I had a dollar every time I mention V-Man, and that's how I'm going to refer to him, V-Man. If I had a dollar for that, I'd be a goddamn millionaire. But you know what? I think that's all I have. I hope y'all appreciate that spurgy ass rant. I think I'm going to upload this tomorrow. That way y'all can enjoy the other 3 videos that I uploaded on some craziness, which is much more. That was the Doomer trilogy for today. That's what I'm going to call that. That was the Doomer trilogy. I'm going to upload this one tomorrow, which is, I don't know. I think this one's just going to be one by itself. But anyway, hope y'all enjoy that. Oh, bye-bye.